Good morning and welcome back to it, the Now Morning Show, your Tuesday edition, where we are going to help you know your rights, like the song said, because Senior Consumer Advocate is joining us, Eva Bullard Noel, that is, for the Consumer Affairs Division of the Ministry of Trade and Industry, as we are talking fair and responsible AI for consumers heading into World Consumer Rights Day. This is quite the topic, Eva, so thank you very much for joining us this morning.
I'm glad to be here.
And jumping straight into it, the 15th is when we're celebrating or observing World Consumer Rights Day. You guys are set here specifically to inform us and to empower us so that we can shop, essentially, very well. There are things we need to look out for. There are educational systems that we need to explore because there is a lot to know in the world of consumerism. So tell us, first off, some of the initiatives that are going to be explored on the 15th so that we can be better consumers.
Okay, so thank you for having me. I'm so glad to be here. So first of all, I want you all to remember that our running theme has always been be empowered and be educated as consumers, right? So we want you to remember that. Whatever it is that we're promoting, that's the basis. So on the 15th of March, which is Friday coming here, we're going to have an expo and exhibition on the promenade opposite Nicholas Towers. It runs from 9:30 to 5, and we have partnered with some of the other advocacy agencies, such as Regulated Industries Commission, the Trinidad and Tobago Bureau of Standards, Telecommunications Authority of Trinidad and Tobago. We have the Office of the Financial Services Ombudsman and the Ombudsman as well, to name a few. And we're partnering with them, and the theme for this year is fair and responsible AI. It's a big topic. It's something that not a lot of us know about, and so we're promoting that as the basis as well for this upcoming World Consumer Rights Day celebrations. So feel free to stop by and participate. We have a lot of prizes and giveaways as well. So it's from 9:30 to 5. So when you're passing through, just pass by us and get some information.
I like that you'll have a little bit of motivation to the learning because there's a lot of information to share. And while I know that you will have the general bout of information available to us, the focus is on AI specifically.
Yes, it is.
And it's interesting because there is a role for artificial intelligence in the consumer chain of events.
Yes, there
What
is.
does that role look like? What is the purpose or role of AI in consumer behavior?
Right. So what fair and responsible AI aims to do, it's supposed to do at least, is to empower the consumer. So yes, we have that theme, but with AI, it tends to go the other way where it gives you information to prompt you to do stuff.
Right.
But we also want to make sure that it also empowers you on the converse of it so that you are able to do more stuff. You are able to do more stuff wisely, more responsibly. We want to also make sure that the AI builds trust and minimizes negative effects. Sometimes with AI, we lean so heavily on it and we trust. So for example, Alexa, Siri,
the whole gamut.
Bixby. We lean so heavily on it and that we forget sometimes to think for ourselves. And we put all our trust and confidence in machine learning and in AI, and so that we forget to keep our safeguards on. So we want to make sure that fair and responsible AI builds trust and minimizes negative effects. We also want to make sure that AI, fair and responsible AI, is ethical. And what does that mean?
Interesting one.
Yeah, it's so that the person who is, or the company or the merchant or whoever it is that is going to be using AI, we want to make sure that in its development, that it takes into consideration the consumer and making sure that there's fairness in the operations of it, and there's nothing, everything is transparent, there's nothing that is a surprise to the consumer. So we want to make sure that fair and responsible AI is all of these things.
What I'm hearing then is a lot of education towards the back end, if you will.
Correct.
Telling persons how things ought to work and what they
Correct.
should be looking for in the AI that they're going to use.
Exactly. Correct.
So this format then will take the place or take the shape of a lecture, of seminars, in terms of the activities carded from 9:30 till 5.
So it's more of an exhibition and an expo. We have asked for the agencies to make sure that there's whatever it is that they have in terms of the AI theme, that they put that more forward. But we also want them to give information as well too. So it's a twofold thing. If there is new technologies, we want the public to be au courant with it, and to make sure that they're comfortable with it.
I quite like that because it can be very intimidating. I know people who are
very.
still uncomfortable with using ATM machines.
Correct.
So when we talk about even more advanced technology, the opportunity you're describing is to interact with it
Yes.
directly.
So whoever has that technology available, make sure that people get familiar with it, they get comfortable with it, and that they're not up in arms about it. Because AI is something that sometimes intimidates, and people feel because it's technology, it's hands-off, it's a taboo, and it's not just older people, we have it with younger people as well, having that apprehension. So we want people to get comfortable with it, and also we want that the other information that they have about the agencies is disseminated as well.
Of course, that's a top priority. And granted that you have named so many of those other agencies that are there, let's backtrack a little bit. If you can give me like a brief summary of the distinction of your function, your entity altogether, especially as opposed to, let's say, Bureau of Standards or the other entities that ultimately protect our consumer rights. What
Okay.
does the Consumer Protection and Service Unit do?
Okay, so we are the advocacy arm of the Ministry of Trade. So we do consumer redress, we do consumer education, and we have the research function, right? So the redress function is where people come to us and they complain, and we redress their complaint,
Right.
or we try to assist to redress their complaint. We negotiate for and on behalf of the consumer with the merchant or the supplier. With the consumer education, which is what we're doing here, as well as we do lectures, we partner with other government agencies, we partner with community centers and community groups, nonprofit organizations, just to make sure that we widen our reach and we have more educated and more empowered consumers.
Now, granted that the intention is to create immersive experiences on Friday for these consumers, and you do talk about reaching around communities and moving outside of different spaces, I wonder, those consumers who are also going to be sharing and have consumers of their own, business owners, retailers, others of that sort, who also need the education to be responsible, will they have separate types of seminars, or will this be one for them as well?
It's for so at the end of the day, when you take off the hat, you're a consumer. So it's for everybody. The information is there for everybody. And if it is that somebody wants something that's more targeted, we also tailor our lectures for whichever group that we're going to pitch to, right? So that everybody is included.
So somebody looking on at home right now, they're okay with the notion of AI. They're
Right.
willing to embrace it.
Yes.
How do they safeguard themselves from possible misuse?
Well, one of the things we want to make sure that you do is fact checking. Before you share, fact check, because sometimes you're sharing false information and you want to make sure that you're not doing that. Also, adopt a zero trust policy with respect to your information. The biggest commodity that is being traded right now is data. It's hot. It's number one, and if it is you have data, you're golden, right? People's information is key to your data mining. And so you as a consumer or as a person have to safeguard yourself. Look at what it is you're sharing. Don't overshare, because there are games that they put up on social media to what was the last thing you drank, or some kind of tag game. I don't know if you ever if you tag your friends, tag a friend. What was the last thing that that showed up on your phone or something like that, and start a type and put that up there. So it prompts you to give information, and it looks like a game when in fact it's data mining. So adopt a zero trust policy and be skeptical about everything. It's big out there, and every little thing that you do goes into an algorithm, and so they're able to see your habits, where you went, So we go into Waze and we go into Google Assist and we go into Siri and that is mining data to give you. So you look at a dress last week and they pop up with similar things.
That one I know. And I am very victim to.
I'm telling you. So just be careful and choose secure platforms. I mean, there are things that ads that pop up that entice us, and because of the data mining and the algorithms, it's something that you would have been thinking about, and you don't even realize that you were thinking about it, and it pops up, and they send you to somewhere that might be unsafe, but the item that they're advertising looks good, and you end up going on a site. Make sure that the platforms are secure, and don't just tick. That's the key thing I want you all to remember. At the end of like, when you first sign up for certain sites, they will tell you to agree to certain privacy things or whatever, to tick, to agree to the terms and conditions.
They can move forward.
How many of you do read? We do not read. We don't read. I don't read. I know, because sometimes you just want to move along.
Correct.
And we give away and sign away our rights as consumers when we just agree to the terms and conditions just to move on because you want to buy that dress or buy that item.
Even what you're describing is an interesting, almost oxymoronic equation. Because on one hand, you want us to adopt a zero trust approach as a safeguard.
Yes.
But the intent of the seminar on Friday is to give us information so that we can trust AI in the consumer chain of events.
Yes.
So I think that we have a lot of reading to do. We have a lot of interaction to do so that we get familiar and comfortable.
Correct.
And it means that we need to know where we could find this information, even beyond the conference itself or the seminar, on Friday. How else can I find this information so I can take my time and read and not just check the boxes?
Okay, so on our Facebook page and on our Instagram page, we have put up information with respect to AI and machine learning and things that we can look out for. So it's on our Facebook page and it's also on our Instagram page. If it is that you would like to get more information as well, you can contact us on our toll-free number, 800-4277, or you can email us, consumeraffairs@gov.tt.
Right. So Eva, you've given us quite a bit to consider. We're going to make AI something we're more comfortable with because, I mean, it's inevitable.
It is.
But ultimately, we are going to be better consumers by educating ourselves.
Absolutely.
Definitely got the message this morning, and we thank you for coming across to share it. But we're heading over to, well, just opposite the Nicholas Towers on the promenade, essentially, on Friday for World Consumer Rights Day, as the Consumer Affairs Division of the Ministry of Trade and Industry is going to make sure that we are more educated and more equipped, educated and empowered consumers this World Consumer Rights Day. Thank you very much for joining us again, Acting Senior Consumer Advocate, Ms. Eva Bullard-Noel. And for those of you who want more information, head on over to their websites and Instagram pages. But for now, we are coming back with more on the Now Morning Show after these messages.